Hello, I'm Steve Lang from Vauxhall Motors and I'm here to help you get the most out of your Vauxhall Ampera and understand the technology behind this pioneering vehicle. Before we go into detail and discuss the content of the different chapters in this DVD, let's first establish what Ampera is and why we have built it. Ampera is the UK's first extended range, fully electric vehicle.
Awarded Car of the Year 2012.
It offers all the convenience of a traditional luxury mid-size car with the additional benefits of electric power. This means lower running costs, greater fuel saving and less pollution. A superb environmentally friendly package that is also practical and stylish. Or as the marketing materials tell us, the stuff of fantasy made real. So we know that the Ampera is different to normal combustion engine vehicles, and it's not the same as other fully electric vehicles on the market. So how is it different? Well, in Ampera brochures and promotional literature, you will see the description EREV. This means extended range electric vehicle. Fundamentally, this means it has the best of all worlds. Its lithium-ion battery pack can be charged by plugging into an electrical supply, and once charged, the lithium-ion batteries then power the electric motor, which in turn drives the front wheels. Therefore, the Ampera has no need for a gearbox or clutch, but unlike other fully electric cars, Ampera has its own 1.4 petrol engine, and that can be used to generate electricity to continue to drive the car
with a range of up to 360 miles.
It's worth adding that the use of Ampera's petrol engine doesn't work in the same way as a traditional hybrid, as its engine is used to supply electricity to the motor rather than directly drive the wheels. Therefore, the Ampera brings all the benefits of electric driving without the drawbacks of a limited range. Now, let me talk you through the content we have within each section of this DVD. In the external design and functionality section, I will take you on a walk around of the Ampera and focus on what is different from a traditional car in terms of the external functionality. We will also have a look at what's under the bonnet. In the internal design and functionality chapter, I will highlight all you need to know about the interior, with particular focus on the driver instrument panels and information displays, including the infotainment systems and how to use them, as well as operating the climate control. That's really important because this has an impact on the range of the Ampera. Of course, a separate chapter will cover all you need to know about charging the Ampera. And finally, we will take you on the road and drive the Ampera to highlight what is different from driving a combustion engine vehicle, but also show you how similar the driving operation is to a traditional car. Of course, this DVD is not designed to replace the owner's manual, but simply to give you a high-level overview, and we therefore recommend that you spend time reviewing the manual in order to fully understand the functionality and amazing features of this pioneering vehicle. From the exterior and starting at the front, we first notice how sophisticated and stylish the Ampera looks. Most people comment on how different the styling of the Ampera is compared to other electric vehicles on the market. With its stunning boomerang headlights, integrated indicators, LED daytime running lights, of course its Griffin badge and chrome effect grille and general fantastic aerodynamic design, Ampera is definitely an outstanding premium vehicle. At the front, the aerodynamic design is assisted by the lower rubber air deflector. I'm pointing this out to you because it greatly assists the airflow and thereby contributes a couple of miles to the battery range. However, when you're driving over speed bumps or certain surfaces, you may hear a scraping, but this is due to the rubber flexing and is not a cause to worry. Coming to the side, we have ultra low profile rolling resistance tyres with lightweight aluminium wheels and polycarbonate aerodynamic inserts, all of which help reduce the weight and give you better fuel economy. The mirrors here are once again designed to improve the aerodynamics of the car and have the added benefit of providing improved visibility. These also fold in for convenience. While at the driver's door, it's worthwhile pointing out some functionality of the key. It's like any other standard Vauxhall key, but has more functions on it. You have your standard unlock and lock button, but also this additional button will open the electric charge door, and I'll show you that later. One other button is the vehicle preconditioning button. Pressing this will bring your battery pack up to the optimum temperature and will either cool or warm the interior of the car depending on weather conditions and predetermined settings. A benefit of preconditioning while charging is that energy from the grid is used, whereas when the vehicle is unplugged, the power will be drawn from the battery and therefore may affect the range. To activate preconditioning, lock the vehicle first and within 5 seconds, press this button to condition the cabin. A full description of how to operate the different settings and functionality of this button can be found in your owner's manual. Also found on the key is this red button that can be pressed to help locate your vehicle in a busy car park. When pressed, the Ampera will beep 3 short bursts to alert you of its location. Now, whilst talking about the key, it is logical to mention the keyless entry system. This enables a keyless locking and unlocking of the doors and tailgate without the necessity of removing the key from your pocket, purse, briefcase, etc. To unlock the door, simply press the button on the door handle and then pull the door open. To lock the door, simply reverse the process. Staying with the key, in addition to all these buttons, there's also a standard traditional blade that can be used if for some reason keyless entry is not operational. At the rear of the driver's side, you'll find a fuel flap for your 35-litre small petrol tank. It is opened by pressing a button found on the inside of the driver's door and then simply by pushing it open. Moving to the rear of the Ampera, you will see your LED lights, rear brake lights, indicators and aesthetic reflectors. Also, I want to point out the rear fog light as well as a very useful reversing light. That's useful because it assists the reversing camera found on positive and electron models, offering great nighttime reversing visibility on the central internal display. The car, however, is not designed to tow and there is no roof rack capability. To open the boot, you have a touch-sensitive pad which gains access to 300 litres of boot space, which is fantastic load space for an electric vehicle. And this increases to 1,000 litres when the rear seats are folded down. Inside the boot, you will find the lightweight load cover, and under the floor, you will see the portable charging cable, the 12-volt battery, and your tyre inflation kit. For more usage instructions, please refer to your user manual. In the event that you need to jump-start the vehicle, this would not be done from here, but instead from under the bonnet, as if the 12-volt battery is completely flat, you will not be able to access the boot. There is also a place here for the emergency services to disable the battery during an emergency. So, you might be asking yourself, where is the main lithium-ion battery located? Well, the T-shaped lithium-ion battery pack is located centrally for a low centre of gravity and optimal front-rear weight distribution. Now, before we have a quick look under the bonnet, I want to point out the charging flap at the front of the passenger side. Remember I said earlier that this can be operated by the key. Press this button and it opens. Now you can charge your vehicle, and that's covered in another chapter. This flap can also be opened by a button on the inside of the driver's door. Okay, so with the bonnet open, I can now familiarise you with the layout. The first thing you'll notice is the distance between the front of the car and the first part of the engine and cooling system. Obviously, this is to prevent any of the engine and electrical systems being damaged in the event of an accident. This is the cooling fluid that will either warm or cool and control the temperature of the lithium-ion cells. The serviceability items from your point of view are the same as any other car. So, oil level indicator, brake fluid, coolant and washer level top-up points. But different from a normal car, you can see here the electrical drive unit and also some orange cables. One thing you should note is these cables are carrying high voltage and should only be handled by a specially trained Vauxhall high voltage technician. Now, the driver's information display will give you various messages regarding the condition of the car. For instance, tyre pressures, oil life, and if you haven't used a petrol engine for 3 months, it will initiate a program which will start the engine to protect it. In the unlikely event that you need to jump start the vehicle, here is your ground or negative pole, and here is your positive. So you would jump start the car from these 2 points there. The dynamic and almost futuristic character of the Ampera's exterior is echoed throughout the cabin, which has been designed to reflect the unique and groundbreaking nature of the car. You can immediately see and feel the premium quality of the vehicle, but in this chapter we're going to focus on the Ampera's fully featured infotainment setup with centre console touchscreen comprising of the power flow, charging and efficiency information, and also electronic climate control functions, and in the top of the range Electron model, a sophisticated 3D navigation guidance, hard drive, DVD facility and Bose sound system. Of course, Ampera is keyless entry, so all I need to use the wonderful infotainment systems are the keys somewhere either on my person or in the car. You can use the infotainment systems with the car powered off. However, if I wanted to drive off, quite simply, foot on the brake, power up the car. Now, the first thing I'd like to show you is what happens when you put the car in reverse. Let's do that now. Immediately, the rear parking sensors are activated and the reversing camera appears on the centre console. It is worth noting here that if you're parking but not reversing, and you wish to activate the front parking sensors, you need to press the button situated above you just here, as the sensors only activate automatically when you've selected reverse. Now, while you're driving, the centre console system will show you this image of the battery power and the ways in which the power flows from the battery and into the Voltec powertrain. We will see more of how this works during the driving. Also on this menu in the centre console is the energy consumption screen, Energy Info, where you're able to view the car's energy information since the last time the high voltage battery was fully charged. The energy efficiency screen displays how economically you've been driving and how efficiently you've been using the climate settings. The higher the percentage, the more efficient. The climate efficiency gauge in the bottom left indicates in real time how the electronic climate control choices affect your power consumption, and it maintains the chosen temperatures automatically. Although it may of course also be adjusted manually, and anything that is coloured green is on and anything blue is off. The positive trim features the new colour code radio, which includes AM, FM and DAB radio, that's digital radio. Also CD and MP3 disc compatibility, and there's an aux-in and USB port in the central armrest, as well as a 12-volt power outlet. Perfect for keeping MP3 players and smartphones out of sight. Another 12-volt power outlet is located in the rear console. A Bluetooth system is included for mobile phones, and there's a premium speaker system. The Electron then takes the infotainment to a higher level, taking these features and combining them with touchscreen navigation and a 30GB hard drive which can be used to store personal audio files. For example, taking your CD and loading it into the car's system. And you can then record that CD and store it onto your hard drive, as well as also copying MP3s from your music playing devices. Let's take that disc out because I also want to show you its DVD capabilities. So let's insert a movie. So as you can see, the Ampera can also play DVDs, which for obvious safety reasons can only be done when the vehicle is stationary. All functions for all models can be operated via the centre console controls, the touch screen or remote controls located on the steering wheel. So in summary, an amazing package of infotainment and climate control information that is made simple to use with touchscreen technology designed to enhance not only Ampera's efficiency but also the occupant's driving pleasure. When driving Ampera for the first time, you will be amazed with the space-age technology available to you. However, rather than just simply powering up and driving away, on this occasion I will take time out to explain in detail the key features that are available to you. First, power up the Ampera and enjoy the screen visuals and space-age sounds. The first thing you'll notice is there are two screens, the driver's display and the centre console display. These will both offer information relevant for the driver. First, we will look at the visuals on the driver's display. We can adjust the driver's instrument panels using this config button, located by the driver's door. With this configuration, on the right-hand side, we see the driving efficiency gauge, and we will talk about this in more detail on the drive. On the left, we have the battery level graphic with expected range. This visual will automatically display the battery capacity until the battery level reaches 0, whereupon the battery graphic will be greyed out and the engine fuel gauge will become more prominent. This transformation would occur on the move and is part of the seamless switch between battery and engine generated power. Pressing the config button allows you to vary these visuals to your own preferences. And in this configuration, it shows the battery level and also petrol range. Full details of these are described in the owner's manual. And finally, on the driver's display, we can also choose any of 4 driving modes. Normal is the default setting and also the most energy efficient. It utilises power from the battery pack for as long as possible and then engages the engine in order to generate electricity when needed. In sport mode, as you can see here, it works in exactly the same way as normal mode but offers a sharper throttle response. However, as you might expect, this option can reduce efficiency. Our next mode is mounting mode. This mode offers maximum torque for sustained mounting climbs. Power is maximised by allowing both the battery and the engine to generate maximum power. Realistically, this mode will be very rarely used in the UK and is designed for steep alpine climbs. Another important mode to share with you though is the hold mode. In hold mode, the driver can save the battery's power by predominantly utilising the engine to generate the electricity required to drive the car. This mode would be useful if you were travelling a long motorway journey where you would utilise the engine generated electricity on the motorway, therefore saving your battery's power for inner city driving. This option will also be useful for me to use on our demonstration drive to show you how Ampera drives when the battery level is on 0. Now we focus on the central driver instrument panel. Of course, we could display all the infotainment systems, but on this occasion we're going to use the display options to assist us with as much driver information as possible, relevant to battery usage and driving style. If I press the energy info button, it will give me information on how efficiently the car is being driven and has been driven previously. It'll also give me some really handy little tips in terms of how I can get more efficient driving out of the car. Also information on climate settings and vehicle charging and maintenance. In addition, we have a power flow display, which is an animated real-time driving efficiency gauge, and that shows how electricity is being generated and where it is being used. We'll focus more on that when we take the car out for a drive. Now we're ready to drive. We need to select forward or reverse using the drive selector. You will notice park, reverse, neutral, drive and low ratio, as this option can be used whilst on the move in order to help when using regenerative braking. However, this should be used with caution, as deceleration will be more aggressive than a conventional car, and other road users may not be aware of your sudden reduction in speed, as the brake lights are only illuminated when you apply the brakes. Okay, so we select drive and release the automatic electric parking brake. This is identical to all Vauxhall systems, but with the Ampera you will hear a distinct sound when the brake releases. This of course is due to the silence of an electric vehicle. In fact, the silence of the car when moving is the key differentiator between electric and conventional combustion engine vehicles. And especially when the vehicle is new to you and whilst driving at low speeds or parking, you should pay extra attention, because pedestrians will not hear your car being manoeuvred. To help with this, we have an audible pedestrian alert system to warn of the car's movement. This is situated on the end of the left-hand stalk and can be used at up to 40 miles per hour. When driving, and it is safe to do so, we can adapt our driving style using the information offered by the driver instrument panel and the power flow display to maximise efficiency. I'll now demonstrate how your driving style will be reflected by the visual displays. First, we have the driving efficiency gauge. As I accelerate hard, you see the green ball move up the gauge, and as we brake hard, we see the green ball move down. The driver should aim to keep this ball in the centre by driving as smoothly as possible. Now we focus on the power flow display, where we can now see that the battery is supplying power to the Voltec unit in order to drive the car. As we decelerate by taking our foot off the accelerator, we can see that regenerative energy is flowing back from the wheels into the battery. Now on this display you can see that we are using the engine to generate electricity to the Voltec unit to drive the car. We can also see that the battery is greyed out. This would therefore indicate that either there is zero battery power, or as in this case selected hold within the driving mode options, and therefore the battery's power is being saved until the driver chooses to use it.
These drive modes can be changed whilst on the move or when stationary.
Now, as I cruise along a motorway, I've got time now to consider what will happen if the battery runs flat and my engine is needed to keep driving. Well, as you can see on this display, we have 1 mile of range before the battery is depleted. So what's going to happen? And there it is, absolutely seamless. You can see that we changed from battery to engine, and I didn't even hear the engine start up. In fact, it's hard to tell that the engine is working at all, because unlike traditional cars, the engine is only required to provide electricity to the motor rather than provide full power. It's truly astonishing, really quiet. And let's not forget that the range has now been extended to whatever petrol range we have in the tank. So we could continue forever without ever needing to plug in the battery, or simply top the battery up at the next convenient opportunity. In summary, Ampera offers it all: performance, practicality and economy. And as a driver you'll be totally engaged in its technology. And through its unique power flow display and driver information systems, you'll be fully informed of how to maximise efficiency in order to achieve truly outstanding fuel economy. Therefore, you will fully appreciate that whilst driving the Ampera, you are driving the future now. We have several options of how the Ampera can be charged. But before I give you an overview, I must make it clear that if you are in any doubt of the safety of your supply, you must contact an electrical expert such as an IET qualified electrician. Charging the Ampera battery is incredibly simple. The charge port is conveniently located on the curb side of the vehicle and is safe and simple to use. You can open the charge port by using your key or the button on the inside of the door. Once open, the cover flips back and you can then plug in the appropriate charge cable set. Now, working on the assumption that you have tested and know that your electricity supply can cope with the technical requirements as specified in the handbook, I will quickly take you through the most popular connection and charging methods. First, we have the Vauxhall Ampera standard connection 3-pin cable with intelligent charging system. This cable comes standard with Ampera and is stored in the boot. The first thing is to connect to an appropriate wall socket and then unravel the 6-meter cable, ensuring this is lying flat on the floor for health and safety reasons. And then insert the charging cable to the car. We now look at the centre of the windscreen for a visual indicator that indicates a connection by firstly glowing amber to say the system is connecting, and then when charge is being taken by the car, the indicator will turn solid green and the car will bleep once. When the car is fully charged, the green light begins to flash. If the charge status indicator flashes in any other colour or any other pulsing rhythm, then please refer to your owner manual for guidance. As you can see, we've now moved to a garage type situation, but we're staying with the 3-pin connection option. Now, with all 3-pin connections, once we've plugged it in, we can see by looking at the charge status indicators on the connecting system, it is possible to choose 2 different charge level options. The first is a reduced level charge, indicated by 2 green lights. This gives a 6 amp charge and should be used when the electrical current is limited or untested. This option will typically trickle charge your battery pack in up to 10 hours. It is also possible to change the charge level by pressing this button, which will then allow a more powerful 10 amp charge, indicated by 4 green lights. This higher level is recommended when your system has been approved by a qualified electrician, as it will charge your Ampera fully in up to 6 hours. Now, a few important things to know here. Different levels can only be selected when unplugged from the vehicle, and the charge level is saved between each use. The most important thing, however, is that if in the event that the provided cable cannot reach the car, you should never use an extension cable. The reason for that is an extension cable cannot be guaranteed to handle the ampage coming from the system. Now, in this garage, we have the Vauxhall home charging station. There's 2 clear benefits of installing this system. The first being that it is a dedicated high ampage power supply, up to 16 amps. Now, this should only be installed by a professional, and it offers you the quickest possible recharge times. Plus, you have the convenience of a permanently installed dedicated cable from the wall. And of course, plugging in the cable is exactly the same as I showed you earlier. Now we're outside, and it gives me an ideal opportunity to show you how to use a public charging point, such as this one here. So as you can see, we've now unplugged the Amperas, and I'm going to take you through the process that you need to know. Firstly, you'll need a dedicated swipe card such as this, purchased from the provider. That will allow you access to the charge utilising the standard 3-pin connector. There is also another type of cable connection you can use, and that's known as a Mode 3 or Menendez cable. Now, this cable is sold as a Vauxhall accessory item, and the benefit to you is it will offer a more rapid charge due to an increased power supply of 16 amps by the charging station. Once these cables are connected in exactly the same way as a 3-pin cable, you can fully charge your Ampera in up to 4 hours. So we've plugged in the charging cable and the vehicle is being charged. Let's wait for the green beep. And I'm ready to leave the vehicle unattended. However, I'm often being asked what happens if the vehicle is unplugged while it's being charged. And here's where you have to remember to lock the vehicle, but not just lock the vehicle, deadlock the vehicle by pressing the button on the key fob twice. Once that has happened, if the cable is then unplugged, an alarm will sound. Now finally, when it comes to charging, many users will want to take advantage of lower rate electricity tariffs that are generally delivered off-peak. By pressing the charging button on the touchscreen display, you can set your Ampera to receive the electrical charge at specific times, therefore taking advantage of lower rate electricity. Full details of how to use the delayed charge are in the owner's manual.